Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Dark Sided Weekly Podcast. My name's Rogie, of course. Joining me, we have Matthew, Steve, and of course, our special guest for the night, Extra. How are you all doing tonight, guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah, going well, mate.
Doing all right. It's been a big day.
Yeah, it's been a big day, a big week for a lot of us here. We had a really cool announcement earlier on. If you guys missed it, we actually picked up a League of Legends Oceanic Challenger scene spot. So keep an eye on that spot right there, as there's going to be many great things to come. Steve, excited?
Excited is one word. Yeah, I'm pretty anxious. Anything new, I'm always anxious and nervous. But yeah, exciting. Definitely exciting. I haven't played League in years, and I haven't watched competitive League in just as long, and I'm keen to get back into it. You know, my boy Lee Sin, big fan.
And Wesley, man, you're not a League player at all. What do you think about breaking into this scene?
Yeah, I probably share the same as Steve. I'm very excited, but I'm also very scared because normally every time we pick up a roster in a game, I sort of have a base knowledge of the game itself,
sure.
or I intend to learn it. So I feel like I'm slipping a bit. Like Smash 4, I don't know too much, but League of Legends as well. I'm diving into a game I'm kind of unfamiliar with as a player, but yeah, super excited.
Yeah, and Extra, our guest on for the day. You have any League of Legends background, or has it been strictly Smash?
Not really. I tried to get into it for a little bit, but that was sort of around the time where I was really getting into Smash, so it just kind of fell off. But it seems pretty fun.
Did you have a favorite champion? Was there a one trick or?
I didn't get that far into it. I was just casually playing with friends. Yeah, pretty much. And then I was just Smash is fun, so I'm just gonna go with that instead.
I think I played one game of League with Matt, and he played Rammus, and had no idea what he was doing, and it didn't go well. So that was the extent of that. But yeah, Extra, since we got you on, let's kind of switch the topic over to Smash Brothers. Now, how long have you been playing Smash? Smash 4, that is.
Well, I've been playing Smash 4 since the game came out. I played Brawl just casually. I used to live in Warrnambool, so I didn't really get to go to tournaments, but I've been going to tournaments for about 3 years now. I started going in Feb 2015, so yeah.
And at what stage of kind of learning Smash 4, even Brawl, like you said, you played it casually, did you realize, wait a second, I'm actually pretty good at this game. Maybe I should start taking it super seriously?
It wasn't I didn't really think, oh wow, I'm gonna take this really seriously. I just started going to tournaments because, I don't know, didn't really have anything else to do, and just really liked the community. So yeah, that was about all there is to it, and I just kind of kept going, and yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, fair call. And I'm sure, Steve, someone comes from a fighting game background, kind of committing to a character in a fighting game is a very important choice to make.
Yeah, I mean, some people only make that choice once, right?
Yeah.
They just they play a character and they're loyal, and I'm talking across 10, 15 years loyal,
Yeah. So. What do you think? So how did you get to Game & Watch, Extra?
I don't know. I think well, I started out playing Melee, but this was way back when, and I didn't actually know of Game & Watch, and when I unlocked him for the first time, I was like, man, this character's really cool. So I played him in Brawl, and when I went into Smash 4, I was just I'm going to stick with one or two characters. And I played Wario and Game & Watch, but now I'm just sort of all Game & Watch because Wario kind of sucks.
Yeah, Wario's always been more of a joke pick, right? Well, even in just casual play.
He was really good in Brawl, but yeah, in this game he's not too great, nah.
Fair enough. And so looking at the Smash scene as a whole, we were having a little bit of a chat about it, before the podcast went live. You let me know that it's kind of just refined only to Melbourne. Why do you think that is?
Well, not necessarily. It's just that Melbourne kind of it's pretty much the biggest scene, the strongest scene. In terms of Victoria, there's not really a huge player base outside of Melbourne. Just because I guess Smash 4 is compared to some esports, I guess it's kind of niche. You have to buy the Wii U to actually play it, which is really expensive, and yeah, getting controllers and stuff's really hard. But yeah, we're going strong in Melbourne.
No, good to hear. Yeah, and I guess that barrier to entry is something you don't really think about. A lot of people that have a PlayStation, they have a computer, they have an Xbox, but the Nintendo Wii U is definitely one of those more niche systems that not everybody has a copy of. So.
especially because the timing of the console, it came out like really shortly after the Wii. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I gotta buy another one. Like, it's a bit of an investment. Like, especially, I think it was like 2 years after the Wii, right? So if you look at PlayStations and Xboxes, where they have like an 8 year kind of lifespan and like a 10 year like, shelf life before they get like rotated out. Yeah, 2 years is not a lot of time.
I think
a lot of people. A lot of people even thought like, they thought the Wii U was just like a peripheral for the Wii, so it got like really low sales coming out because people were just like, oh, it's a tablet thing for the Wii, and it just kind of like, it didn't really get off the ground.
Do you have any Game Boy players rock up?
The 3DS. Not so much nowadays, but like back in the day, we used to get them. It's not really like very good as a controller, so
yeah, it's really not. I remember I got the Game Boy on the 3DS, and it would just hurt my thumb after like 20 minutes of playing.
Yeah.
I think you have something you want to say, Matt?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say like the Wii U. I remember just being like as a casual gamer, like I was considering, but it was straight after the Wii, and it just seemed like a bad investment. So yeah, it's interesting how things like competitive Smash 4 can keep potentially keep a console alive.
Yeah.
That's really
I reckon we're just kind of waiting for Smash for the Switch though. Like, that's
the big thing, right? Is we got a new console, we've got this great handheld, but also has the guts to back it up, kind of hybrid between the two. Like, let's say just Smash 5, for lack of a better name or lack of an announcement name. Like, what could you be most excited for in a game like that?
I reckon that it'd just sort of like revitalize the competitive community, because like they stopped patching Smash for Wii U like a couple of years ago, and since then it's sort of like it's kind of struggled to keep growing. We've maintained like really good numbers, but I reckon just like Smash for Switch, it just sort of breathed new life into the scene.
Do you think Nintendo will finally decide to support a competitive scene for Smash, or are they just going to continue to keep the blinds down and pretend it doesn't exist?
I wouldn't say they pretend it doesn't exist. Like over in America, they do sponsor tournaments. Like they help out with getting setups and stuff, and like getting sponsors for tournaments. But they're not really. I don't think they really want to like put in tens of thousands of dollars as like prize money. It doesn't really seem like their thing.
Yeah,
they're not really the kind to cater towards like competitive esports either, right? They're not going to design a game for that crowd. They always do things their way, and if it ends up, they find a competitive way by turning off items and doing certain things, then so be it. But they never build the game for the competitive sense, right?
If we saw a Smash 5 come out, do you think we would see Melee players come over? You know how like Melee players sort of didn't come over for Smash.
It's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, if it sort of like caters to what they like, then but if it's more like Smash
Melee
4,
players are not Smash players. Melee players are Melee players, right? They play Melee.
You hear a bit of that, yeah. But no, I mean, I know Spud has played a bit of Smash 4 in his time. He was actually like, I think he made it onto the West Australian PR for Smash 4, so like he was pretty decent at it. But most of them don't really bother.
Right. We've got a couple questions here. I might just roll through them. Seb Pro 101. He said extra. Why do you not play ROB?
Seb Pro plays Rob. I do play a little bit of Rob as well. Like he's kind of fun, but he also gets destroyed by all the top tiers. So there you go. Not my first choice.
Yeah, fair enough. Right. Always got to kind of like balance that character that you're attached to, either thematically or they have a movie you really like, and of course, as a competitive player, you need something top tier to win as well. So do you think Mr. Game & Watch fits that balance nicely?
I think he's like really underrated compared to what most people think of him. He's got a lot of like tools that actually work really well against the top tiers, but he's maybe not the best character. So I've been working on like a couple of sort of closer to top tier secondaries.
Oh, awesome. So we have another question while we're on topic of questions from Defective Dagger. When was your first tournament win, and how did it feel?
I think this was like August 2015, so it was like about 6 months after I'd gotten to the scene. It was against a really strong player called V or Villiness. She ended up winning BAM 7 actually.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, it was just sort of like a weekly, a local. But it was like the first time I'd ever sort of like really taken a proper set off of her. So I don't know. I was just like really excited to actually get my first win. I'm pretty sure I popped off. So yeah, it was special.
Did she used to play Brawl or Melee? I think I remember seeing her like way back in the day at Couch Warriors events.
I think she played a little bit of Brawl, but she sort of came in around the tail end of it. But yeah, for the first few months of Smash 4, she was like way up there in Victoria, like top 2.
That's cool. I had a personal question, which I've always forgot to ask you. Where did the name Extra come from, like the alias? But then also, where did the unwinded name come from? What's the story behind both?
All right. So first of all, Extra was originally I was like really into Pokemon, and I just kind of got it from the move called Extra Sensory, which was like I was like, man, this is the coolest move ever, because I was like 12 or 13, and when I went to tournaments, I just wanted to sign up as Nick, because that's my name, and I was just like, I don't care, I'll just sign me up as Nick. And they were like, there's a dude called Nix here, so that might be a bit confusing. So I was just like, well, screw it, just call me Extra then. And the Twitter handle, Unwounded, it doesn't really like mean anything in particular. It's just sort of like, I kind of like based it off on an album that I really like by a band called Unwound. And it was sort of like, I don't know, I wanted something a bit different. I didn't just want to be SSB Extra. So yeah, that was my Twitter handle for a while.
Can you hit us with a song name? What's your favorite song? Like,
I really like the song called December. It's sort of like a kind of like psychedelic rock, I guess. Maybe you'll enjoy it, but I don't know.
Yeah, might cop a listen after the podcast.
Unwinded or unwound or like?
Unwound.
Unwound.
You hear that deadline? You got a song to end the podcast to, mate.
Song request.
Let's see how your production skills come in. But yeah, let's talk about like the national Smash scene compared to the international Smash scene. So recently, of course, you were over at Evo Japan. Did a great run over there, but kind of give us a lowdown and what the skill cap of like the national Smash scene looks like at the moment.
So right now I'm number 1 in Oz, and I feel like I can like kind of compete with the top level, but the main problem is we just don't get like enough experience, because you can't really play Wi-Fi or anything with international players. The connection's just like, even going from like Victoria to Queensland, it's dodgy. So we just kind of like struggle to sort of get that experience. And I feel like we're capable of like taking sets off the top players right now, but not really like going on a really long bracket run to like top 8 or whatever. Yeah, in general, I feel like the Australian scene, it's like we've got a lot of like good players, but the neutral game is just like a little bit weaker, and the punish game's a little bit weaker. So in the end, it's just like we kind of lose out, just barely though.
Yeah, and I guess there's no real remedy for that, because Nintendo, they don't get how to do online. It's been one of the biggest things that have plagued them as a company. Like no game that they make has any good online functionality. So I guess like the next step is it just to attend these events and try to play as many offlines as you can?
Yeah, we've realized that what we really need to do is sort of step up our like international rep. So we've, for a while, like at a couple tournaments, we've got international players over to sort of like help teach us, help show us like how to improve. And really, we've stepped it up in terms of just like finally traveling internationally and sort of just bringing over that knowledge and being able to sort of identify that one step further that we need to take, and then sort of teach it to everyone else.
Okay. Is there any plans for internationals to come over for like BAM or OHN or anything like that?
I've heard rumors for a recent tournament might have some international attendance. So yeah, that's pretty.
Hit us with the rumors. Come on, drop the bombs.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to.
Just fire from the hip. Don't think. Just fire from the hip.
Deal with it later.
I think the TOs might be a little bit angry with me if I do that.
Give us a cryptic clue. Come on.
All right. Well, there's a tournament in Wollongong coming up in April.
Expand Gong or something?
Expand Gong, and from what I've heard, they've got one international player on lock, and they're looking at getting another one. So it should be exciting.
I'll settle for that.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but in one of the majors last year, didn't like the Australian scene fund a player come over, but then they didn't? Was there like?
Yeah. So for BAM9, we funded a guy called Nakat over, who's like I think he was 35th or something recently on the new world rankings. But unfortunately, he got sick like right before BAM, so that ended up falling through. I reckon. I've heard that he's got plans to like travel to Australia in the near future. So hopefully we see him over here at some point.
Yeah, that's cool. Does he like? I'm just getting logistics here. Did the Australian Smash team like keep that money that was raised, or does he have that money? Like, how does that work?
Well, we just kind of bought plane tickets for him, and I think we had to refund that, and the refund like cost a little bit, but I think most people like got some of their money refunded. So yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Right?
Yeah, it is a
100% loss.
Yeah.
Fair call.
It's interesting that you're saying all these things about like the Smash community and like trying to get that international like bringing people over to train with them or going over to train. And you're saying like all this stuff in it's 2018 now, and you're talking about 2016 and 2017, and you said you started in 2015. We went through all this stuff with Street Fighter 4, and we've done the exact same thing, and players got like a lot better. So I think if the scene just kind of keeps at what they're doing, everyone will get a lot better. Just history repeating itself, like through an observation. So yeah,
I reckon so.
Well, I mean, that's it, right? Like, there's only so much you can do when you're the best, right? There's only one way to get better, and it's versus people better than you. Get punished for your mistakes so you can fix it and refine your play, and it's hard to do that if there's no one there to try to challenge you.
Yeah, definitely. And like bringing like 1 or 2 Japanese people down, right? A plane ticket is like $900. You split it like 100 ways between everyone in the community. It's like $10 each.
Boys. Yeah.
And everyone can come and play, and they get that experience. And you just like run a gauntlet with that player. You just put them on a thing, and everyone gets to play like a best of 3, and you just burn that guy out. And everyone gets some experience, and everyone gets better, and you can bring them to an event, and everyone just enjoys it and makes it so much better. It's a little bit of capital to get into it, but trust me, I mean I ran Shadow Showdown with the boys, and it was like worth it.
Yeah, awesome. I've heard about that.
I've got a couple questions just before they get lost into the abyss here. Defective Dagger, he says, question for Extra. How does he feel about Bayonetta currently, and if it'll affect his Smash career?
Okay, alright. So yeah,
for those who don't reading out.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Bayonetta is like there's been a bit of controversy about her recently. A lot of people think that she's like clearly the best character in the game, and there's talks about maybe she's worth banning. Right now, she doesn't really have the results. I think
Sure.
My character, Game & Watch, he's sort of seen as like mid-tier, but I actually reckon he has like a really good matchup against Bayonetta. Other Game & Watches in America have like taken out top Bayonetta players. So in terms of like in Australia, she's not really a problem for me right now. Maybe internationally, I might have a bit of trouble, but I'm still confident in that matchup.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Very interesting hearing about all that stuff, because Smash Brothers being one of the more unique fighting games with a very much ad hoc approach to how you string together your combos and what that looks like. So it's always great to see when it comes together in your favor, right?
Yeah. The thing with Bayo is that her combos, like, they're known for being really, really strong, and she combos off like a lot of moves, but her neutral game isn't that strong compared to like a couple of the other top characters, so you can definitely like exploit stuff about her.
Yeah. Awesome to hear. I think we had another one from Palooka. Extra, will you stick to Game & Watch in the next Smash or change it up? I guess it's hard to really say because we've got no idea what will be in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, now that I've sort of like gotten full into competing in Smash, I reckon that if Game & Watch like doesn't quite hold up, even compared to like Smash 4, I might just like drop him, see what I can do with like an actual top tier. But I just really love the character, so I'm keen to keep using him whenever I can.
Ah, that's good. There's also a question from a guy named Sly Will, one of our boys. He said, is there anyone in New Zealand that's on your radar, or are we pretty free when it comes to Smash 4?
I know that we're running sort of like a massive crew battle at BAM 10, and we're just sort of like inviting a bunch of players to sort of compete against each other, and we're going to like draft players, so it's sort of like one team against each other. And we have an invited NZ player called Red. I don't know too much about their scene because I don't know if they have streams or anything. But from what I played on them on just like online on For Glory or whatever, they seem like they got pretty good movement, so I reckon they could make some upsets.
Oh, cool.
Very cool. So let's reel it back in a bit from all the questions. We've kind of been bombarding you here. Let's kind of just talk about where you fall into Dark-Sided. So I know Matt here has had his eye on you for a while now as a potential pickup. Matt, do you kind of want to walk us through the journey that you went through?
I think, yeah, like not choppy, but I think, yeah, like I think we reached out. We were talking with Nick for a while, and I honestly, I think it was our part. I think I kind of just let the communication die. It was probably around the time like a major came around, and when we have like OHN or BAM, we seem to just get bombarded. Obviously, like flights and accom and booking and planning. So, yeah, I think I noticed when you won an event that like got you a flight to Evo. I thought that was awesome, and that kind of propped you back into my mind again. And I mean that's forever ago, but you know, by the time I guess I made something of it, that was when I reached out again, and I was like, you know, stuff it. I'm being persistent here. Got to make something from it. So
we've had a crazy last 6 months. That kind of sometimes like there's a lot of missed opportunities where we just not quick enough, you know.
That's right. And it's like one of those
things. Everything's so much clearer in hindsight, right?
Yeah,
it's like, that would have been easy to do if we had just done that and that. And so at the time, you just like everything's on fire and you're freaking out, just trying to keep the ship from sinking.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where it's like when I got my mind on it, like for that last time, it was like, you know, really got to wrap it up quickly, because in my mind, it's like the Smash 4 community, or you know, Smash Melee, any FGC game, like has so much potential. Like there's so many top players, like so many marketable players, so many big personalities. Like why are they not? You know, I have the mentality. It's like, you know, surely an org is going to come in and snatch up all the talent. So like that was definitely motive there. Like definitely wanted to, you know, finalize our FGC roster per se.
No, really cool, and it's good that it's kind of come to this fruition. So, and Extra, what does signing with Dark-Sided mean to you?
Just sort of no, it's fine. Sort of like at the start of the year, I'd felt like I'd accomplished a lot of my goals, or like most of my goals, because I gotten first on the OzPR. I'd been #1 in Victoria for like almost a year and a half at that point. So I was just kind of like thinking, like, where do I go from here? And so the Dark-Sided thing sort of came up at a really good time, because after Evo Japan, I was just like, well, I might not travel internationally before, but now I was sort of like getting that opportunity to like really defend my title and potentially like go overseas again and representing Dark-Sided. It's just like, it's sort of made me so much more excited about the game again. So awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Oh, that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we want, right? Is we want to help people fulfill the vision that they've set out for themselves as a competitive player. So it's going to be an awesome journey. Really looking forward to 2018.
Is there I mean, while you're on this, you know, semi popular podcast with a crowded audience, is there any Smash players? Is there any Smash players that like you think would be worthy of, you know, a sponsor? Maybe if there's some org owners in the chat or anything like that.
I'd definitely say #2 in Australia, J Dizzle. He's just sort of been on the come up really quickly. But for a while, he sort of wasn't even in contention for the #2 spot. But he got second at OHN, did really well there. Like took out a couple of international threats, like from Germany, who are generally seen as like a better country than us. So he's done really well there. Second in Victoria, only behind me. Beats like tons of people. So yeah, he'd definitely be on my #1. Aside from that, like Ghost from SA, he's #3. He's like, he works really hard. He's always like pulling out a new top tier against me, and I'm just like, oh, what the hell do I do? Because he's always like so like gets it to such a good level so quickly. So yeah, I reckon like if you give him the like real drive to compete, he'd do wonders.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like in that journey where we were kind of, you know, scouting you per se. It seemed like the rivalry between you and Ghost was really strong. You know, he would win an event, you would win an event. You know, he would be first, you'd be first, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like to me, it seems like you've sort of more solidified your spot as first. You know, what could you like comment between like relationship now to like what happened with Ghost back then? Like now that he's like third, like you say.
Yeah. So Ghost recently, like once again, he's like struggled with J Dizzle, but also. I think I've won the last 3 sets we've played. It kind of like, I feel like the rivalry kind of died at Band
Yeah.
9, where I made him switch to Zelda, which is like one of the worst characters in the game. He just kind of like felt like he got downloaded and just sort of did it for the crowd. But yeah, it was sort of like the debate over who was like really better. It went on for a good like 6 months, 6 to 8 months. But yeah, I feel like it kind of like ended there to some extent. But yeah, he's still got it, definitely.
Ah, that's cool.
Very, very cool indeed. And it's always good to hear that there's a lot of competition in the scene, whether or not be for the #1 spot, as it sounds like you hold that pretty significantly. But, you know, we've got a lot of really cool events coming up in 2018, but there was one that you just attended, Evo Japan. Let's delve a little bit deeper onto this event. Do you want to give us an insight into your time over there?
Oh, Japan was just like fantastic. I've never been over there. I probably wouldn't have gone, but I won flight through the NSW circuit. They basically they ran a top 32 bracket, which I qualified for, and I just went there and ended up taking out first. So yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it's a fantastic country. And Evo Japan, I maybe didn't do quite as well as I think I could have, but I ended up getting eliminated by a like top 20 player in Japan in losers. So it was a little bit of a rough draw. Just in general, like getting to experience like completely different players who like you've never versed before was just like a really eye-opening experience for me, because in like Victoria and Australia you kind of like fight the same people over and over again because we're not the biggest scene. So yeah, it was just like really, really refreshing, I suppose.
No, how cool. And I know, Steve, one of your favorite bits going over, especially to some of the Asian countries, is eating all the wonderful food.
I love eating.
Experiencing the cuisine, dude. Experiencing the cuisine.
Speaking my language, food. But yeah, so like, did you come across any strange foods in Japan? Like, I can't think of any that we came across in like Hong Kong. I know the street food was weird. Like they would just like cook it up and it was.
Yeah.
It was.
So I'm pretty picky when it comes to food. Like, fan of fish, and I don't like egg that much, so I was a little bit out of luck in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get into the. But I don't know. One time,
did you live off like curry or something? That's something you could definitely live off. I mean, I don't think you could live for a very long time, but yeah.
I just basically, I had a ton of curry, but probably the weirdest thing I had was on our last night there, we just all went to a restaurant. We were just like, oh, get us whatever, just as like, this is what my friend does when he's over in Japan. And they got us like some tofu thing with sour seaweed, and it wasn't the best thing I've eaten. But
it
was
tofu, like inari.
It was kind of
tofu.
I don't know. It was just kind of like, it came with like a bit of beef and other stuff, and this is my first time having tofu, but it wasn't too bad.
That sounds interesting. I wouldn't mind trying it.
I wonder how they make it sour, like the seaweed.
I have no clue.
I mean, if you wash all the salt off it, surely it's not a great flavour. Like, it's seaweed, dude. Come on.
Sour seaweed. So, of the whole trip from Evo Japan, excluding food, what was the best moment that you had? Like, if there was one moment you had with the boys, because I know you went with like a bunch of friends. Keep it like. Let's go PG here. Like, what was the best moment you had?
Yeah, all right. So probably my favorite moment was when we went to this theme park called Fuji Q Highland. It was really cool, but not just because of like the rides and stuff, which were pretty crazy, really. But just because like that was my first time seeing snow. It actually snowed there, so like I don't know. That just stands out in my mind as like something special. And even though like in the end the snow closed a bunch of rides, so we kind of were like, damn, we spent all this money to get to this theme park, and now we can't go on any rides. But it was just still like really nice.
Did they just like give you the old tough luck, kind of like bad luck? It's snowing, it's closed. Or...
We got to go on a few rides, and then we were like just waiting in the queue for the next one, and they were like, oh, sorry, it's closed now. Here's like a priority pass if we open the rides, and they never did. But well,
that sucks. Oh, well. But I guess you got to experience
exactly.
Skimmed over, but whereabouts in Japan was it being held?
Tokyo. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you think you'd go back next year, given the opportunity?
Evo Japan itself, I think there were a couple of things ironed out, because they didn't have friendlies on the Friday or the Sunday, which was like a little bit disappointing. Okay. Yeah, so like, I mean, it was still a great tournament. I might like to try my hand at like a different Japanese tournament, or maybe going over to America again to compete in like one of their big majors.
What's like the one event that you want to go to above all else? What's like the go-to?
From what I heard, Super Smash Con is like really, really good in terms of like providing a tournament experience, because I think they have like the biggest Smash 4 bracket pretty much, aside from like maybe Evo. And just in general, they have like a whole bunch of like other side events and stuff that just makes it sound like it'd sort of be like an amazing experience, not just for the tournament itself.
That's awesome. So like just an all-around experience, just everything Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sick. That's really cool. I know Spud recently went over to Genesis. Is that strictly a Melee thing, or do they have 4 there as well?
They have Smash 4 there. I think Smash 4 was like a fair bit smaller than Melee because they do focus on it.
Sure.
But we did have a bunch of Australians actually over there, and they did pretty well. So yeah.
Yeah, really cool. And kind of like talking a little bit about Smash Melee and Smash 4, and kind of the differences are pretty stark once you've played both games, and compare and contrast. But what's the main thing between the two that had you go over the side of Smash 4?
Well, when I was just starting out playing Smash 4, it was just like I didn't have anyone to sort of like play with. I had like one friend who I played with occasionally, so it was mainly the ability to just like go online and find someone to play with, and like I couldn't really like play Melee Net Play or anything, so it was just sort of the accessibility of it. And I also do love how many characters there are in the game. Like compared to Melee, which is kind of small and half the characters kind of suck, Smash 4 is like the character diversity is just huge.
Okay.
Very cool. I think Matt, you had a question you wanted to ask?
So before picking you up, I was always infatuated with I think it's Immortals player. His name's Anti.
Oh yeah. It's Anti actually. You get mad if you call him Anti.
Oh really? Right.
Yeah.
I think never calling him Anti.
I think that dude is so funny. So funny. Do you think like he seems like a prominent figure in Smash? Is that right? Like he seems like one of the bigger voices.
In terms of like social reach, he's probably like one of the biggest, like top 3, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know like how he stands out so much? Because I see him. I think he's hilarious. Is that just what it is? He's funny.
He's pretty funny. I think it's just that he kind of says what's on his mind. Like a lot of the sort of esports personalities, they're all very inclined to be like, oh, I'm not going to really say what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But he just goes on about, like, even when he got sponsors by Immortals, he was just like, yeah, I'm going to keep saying my mind. I don't care. That's what they want me for because people like it. So yeah, I feel like that's like a really big part of his appeal.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I'd love to see him come to an Australian event, but I think I saw Pudge tweet at him once, and he replied saying like, "I'm never flying to Australia. It's like 30 hours or something."
Yeah, we tried to get him for like a BAM 8 and BAM 9. Like every single time we have a big major, someone will message Anti on Twitter, and he'll just be like, "Nah, never happening."
Yeah, that's always disappointing.
It's a terrible flight from the States. And speaking of flying to the States, Steve. You're going to the States this week, aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
You're going to have to man that flight.
To Darksided.
It's not related to Darksided, but it's related to you.
It is related to me. I am
you're on
going
the podcast, mate.
Yeah, I am. You're right. That's a good point.
Are you keen, mate?
Yeah, so going to Texas on Thursday, Friday this week for the weekend, like literally for the weekend. Am I keen? I'm pretty nervous. Like, who would go that far for the weekend? Obviously, I'm going.
I've done that, dude. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
The best part is though, is you don't get jet lag when you come back because you're not there long enough to adjust your sleeping pattern. You just
that's promising. That's promising. Yeah. So definitely like stepping out of my comfort zone here and just like whatever I'm going.
The long flights are the
I'm gonna go do that and try to eat a lot of good food. I've got like 9 meals there, right? So I got to make the most of it. Maybe we'll try and do like 5 meals a day and just like
dude,
just load up,
washing yourself.
Fast leading up to it, they're gonna be like, "Here's your in-flight meal," and I'm be like, "Nah, dude. I'll just get something when I get off."
In-flight meals are always crap. How long's the flight to Japan extra?
It was about like 11 hours, or like maybe. Yeah, so it was still pretty long.
Close.
I thought it was close. Yeah, like a few hours.
Is this like a direct flight straight there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going from Melbourne. It's probably close, like Sydney or Queensland, but it was fairly long.
It's like not too different from Taiwan. You know, like Hong Kong's like 9 hours, yeah, and it's
It
even
feels
wow.
close
further
because
north than that.
the states is 14, and that's like on the other side of the planet across an ocean. And you think
Yeah.
it's just up there, like it's just what?
Yeah. I mean, there's no time difference because it's like all in the same time zone.
Yeah.
but
It's
Yeah,
just-
right.
I guess like the
Yeah.
curvature of the Earth, like on a flat one, it's like boom boom, but it's not flat Earth.
I mean, yeah. You know what I
It is a
learned?
flatter.
I think I learned it was last
You're
week,
a
right? 'Cause
fucking
today's
primary
Monday.
school teacher.
You know what I learned last week? That when you cross into China from the north, it's actually
Yeah.
like that little gap there. You go back or forward 3.5 hours because the whole of China is one time zone. Even though it spans multiple
Oh,
like
really?
traditional time
Yeah.
zones, they run.
Ah,
on one
yeah.
time. So jumping between, I don't know if it's Russia or whatever. Like my geography's bad. Don't go there. But as soon as you jump the gap, it's 3.5 hours.
Interesting.
Insane.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
time
glad
zones
you
always
told me.
wig me the heck out.
There's your useless information for the week, boys.
Yeah, I love it.
What's the furthest you've had to fly, Matt? You did. You went to New York. But you went the wrong way.
Yeah, I saw these cheap flights to New York, and I was like, hell yeah, I got a bargain. And I didn't realize that it was like flying to Seoul in Korea, and then it was like an overnight stay. So I had to stay in Seoul for like 8 hours, but it was like from midnight to like 8 in the morning, and then fly to New York. So it was a terrible flight. It was like 35 hours, like from Brisbane all the way to New York. It was crap.
That's the worst. $20.
Yeah, it's like $20 or something. $20 for 20 extra hours.
Oh man.
But,
Dude, hopefully we get that Elon Musk rocket, man. Hour from anywhere to anywhere, right?
yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need.
1 hour, jeez. Okay.
Oh, no.
Uh,
That
Wait,
would
has
make
it got-
your weekend trip way less.
Yeah, of course. Got a question here. I think it's Rizul or Rizal. He said sub extra. Do you watch any other Smash gamers or events on Twitch? Yeah.
I'm pretty into like watching Melee. I tried to pick it up for a little bit, but never really sort of got anywhere. I do love watching it just as a competitive
Fun,
game.
right?
Yeah, dude, it's like amazing. It's like the level the top pros play at is just incredible. But aside from that, not really too big on like Smash 6. Brawl's dead. But yeah, if Melee is happening, I'll always give it a look at Mages or whatever.
Yeah, I guess we've kind of spoken a little bit about Smash 4 and Smash Melee, given that that's a game that you're proficient in. But is there any other fighting games that these skills translate over to, or is it purely just those two?
It's hard to say. I like a lot of the Smash. They like dabble in fighting games. I know Leffen recently has been playing a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters. I think he's pretty good at that. From what I know, and the guy who actually won Capcom Cup, I think Mena RD. He was actually ranked in Smash 4 Republic PR. So like there is a little bit of overlap. But it's hard for me to say. Yeah, I haven't like gotten full into any fighting games. I just kind of like play them if they're around, but they're good fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I noticed Masterminds is Sora. He did like a show match against Masterminds Roth or ROF, which is a Street Fighter player. And I think it was like a first 10 with Dragon Ball Z Fighter. And yeah, I think Sora won like
What
10
was it, Westy? Sorry?
Oh, really?
Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Fighters.
Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yeah, I said it wrong the other day, and I got the cold shoulder from Steve. Which I thought
what
was
did we learn from that day? Dragon Ball Fighters.
Apparently
Yeah,
not.
nothing, man. I'm still saying it wrong.
Yeah,
but like,
blocked him.
yeah. But like, yeah, that was a melee player who took down the Street Fighter player in Dragon Ball. So I thought that was interesting. Like that's a bit of a translation from one game to another. A bit of skill.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the skill that translates over there? Is like the ability to read your opponent, or just press buttons real quick?
I reckon when I like play other fighting games, I always feel like if I learned the combos, I wouldn't be that far behind. So I feel like I don't know, I kind of have like a decent grasp of the neutral, and like I suppose keeping up with the speed of it as well, because those games can go pretty fast.
Yeah, sure. You actually have to worry about your health going to
Pressing the
zero.
buttons
so the other way
fast
around.
enough.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Dragon Ball Fighters?
Have you not played Dragon Ball Fighters, Steve? If you keep pressing X, it's on an Xbox controller, your combo does more damage the more you press it.
Let me check. Hang on. Yep, it is X. You're right. I'm just looking at my
Hey.
arcade stick underneath the table.
I got you, boy.
Yeah, you do an auto combo. You're right.
Yeah, that's all you need to worry about. Your auto combos.
Amazing.
The rest takes care of itself. As long as you hit one of those.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but yeah,
When
you're
you're
right.
playing
It
at
has
the
an
level
auto
that I
combo.
am, that's all you got to worry about.
I saw you like place like third at like the Microsoft Store tournament and taking out
Yeah, dude. Moops.
old boy Moops.
Oh,
He tried to come at me, not knowing that that's all I do when there's no customers in the store.
Mashing X?
Is play Dragon Ball.
Oh, playing
Dude,
Dragon Ball.
I threw in a Y combo there as well, just to mix up. I literally
wow.
mixed up, dude.
Dude, amazing. Auto combos in Dragon Ball actually have that niche part where like some combos are only possible if you use parts of the auto combo. So I think they're like not completely useless, but I feel like that's also a bug. So who knows?
Hmm.
Who knows? I guess. Yeah, a lot of love for the fighting game scene though, in pretty much all avenues. So it's great to see game like Dragon Ball, bringing in a new audience as well as giving the dedicated audience what they want. I hope that's something maybe similar for Smash 5. Like you said, Steve, at top of the show, chances are Melee players are Melee player, dude. They're not looking for the next best thing. They've found the best thing and they're going to stick to that.
Yeah,
But
I feel like
it
they've
might-
definitely made their bed with that. Like they had Project M, right? And that kind of was really like on fire when it came out, and then we're still playing Melee. So I think Melee is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the Melee guys are also like trying to unify under like the NTSC versus PAL and
Yeah,
all sorts of
that's a bit of a
stuff.
mess.
They have to
They're
deal
trying
with
to get
problems
their
that no one else has to.
Yeah, they're trying to get their
Kinda,
stuff
yeah.
together, and I think if you're committed to doing that, you're probably not going anywhere from Melee.
Yeah,
Sure.
right. We got a ripper of a question from Benji, which I'm pretty keen on knowing too. Do you play any other games, outside of Smash? Like, a lot of professionals will, they might play CS, but on their downtime, they might play something completely whack. Like, do you play anything like PUBG, CS, or League of Legends?
Not so much the team games as like I'd like to play them, but my computer kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But I'm pretty into like RPGs as well. Like if I just kind of like try and have one on the go whenever I'm not really feeling Smash. I don't have anything else to do. So yeah, that's about it really. But I used to just like be a huge basically Nintendo nerd back in the day. So I do get around all the Nintendo games as well. Yeah.
I know Matt didn't have one. Like, didn't have
Yeah.
childhood apparently.
I was one of those PlayStation 1 scrubs as a kid.
Me too.
Did you have a Nintendo, Steve, as well?
No,
Wow.
What was my first
Wow.
Nintendo? I didn't buy a Wii. I didn't have a GameCube.
Yeah, neither.
Do you have a Switch?
Never had-
I don't have a Switch.
Do you even have a Nintendo? It doesn't sound like you have a Nintendo.
I bought the DS on like the first day or whatever.
Okay, cool.
And I bought a 3DS to play Street Fighter 4, which I'd already been playing Street Fighter 4 anyway. So that was interesting. But I think I've always been a fan of the handheld ones. So like Game Boys.
Yeah.
And
Do you
stuff.
think they're gonna make another Game Boy now that the
Dude, I doubt it.
Switch is out?
Like, what's the point? Dude, the phones will crush it. Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Nintendo's
been doing more
already,
mobile
going
stuff.
into mobile games, right? So why not just follow that route instead of building dedicated hardware? You've already got the Switch, which kind of hits the niche market between the console, the handheld console, and this mobile stuff. So
Yeah,
there's no point in sinking money into it.
Yeah,
No,
makes
absolutely.
sense. And I guess I'm just waiting for the Switch Pokemon game. I think that's going to be the real decider because
yeah.
They
Pokemon
already
games are
killed.
handheld,
They
right?
already have like killed augmented reality with Pokemon Go. Now
Yeah.
they just need to take what they've done there, or like what they contracted out, and they need to just go, all right, make us Pokemon Snap version, and people will just
Whoa.
lose their
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
This is how you
Yeah.
print money. Like Nintendo, seriously, like just get on it. Stop
Get
messing
on it.
around and go do it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Snap on the mobile. Just
Yeah.
so
Go make
If
your
I can-
billion.
where's
Yeah.
my
Go
goddamn
make
phone
it.
at? If I can do this, man, Bulbasaur in the background, cop a selfie. That's perfect.
Get graded on that, man. Bulbasaur,
Oh,
not
perfect.
irrelevant, but
Yeah.
Steve, perfect.
Whatever,
10
and then the game goes, oh yeah, that's a B-rated selfie, and you're like, all right, so I got to do better and try to get like the S-rank selfie.
Oh man.
But look, we're running at about the time right now. So before we wrap up, was there any shout outs or anything that you want to add on? I'm keep going to say like add extra, but your name's extra, so I don't want to be confusing. Now. So is there anything else you want to add extra?
I mean, I guess shout out to the Smash community getting around the podcast. I've had the Twitch chat going on in the background, and yeah, we're seeing a fair bit of Smash names. So glad that they've sort of got around it. Yeah, shout outs to my dad who'll be watching this tomorrow, hopefully.
Hey.
He's like he tries to like support. He supports my my adventures in competitive Smash.
That's always good.
That's awesome.
So yeah, good to see. And yeah, I suppose that's about it.
No, wonderful. And of course, guys, I think we didn't mention at the top of the show, but in the chat, of course, you did mention any of the questions tonight that got answered on air will receive an XSplit code courtesy of them. So thank you guys for all the wonderful questions. I think we maybe have one more. Yeah, go on, Steve.
Make sure you contact me, Seb Pro, Defective Dagger, Will. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. Palooka.
I think it's Palooka.
Yeah, if you guys want to like contact me, I've got an XSplit code for you. Yeah, so if you don't contact me, it's mine.
Yeah. Hit up your boy Steve, man. He's got to get rid of all the XSplit codes. They're literally weighing him down.
He's got so many.
He's got 10,000, and by 10,000 I mean like what, 20? So
Maybe. Like
ask some good questions, team. Well, look, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to episode 6 of the Dark-Sided podcast. Thank you so much, Extra, for coming on. It was great to hear a little bit of insight into the Smash 4 scene, and of course, your time over at Evo Japan. So I want to give you a big thank you, and of course, Steve and Matt for coming on. Safe travels on your flight.
I'm going to cut in here.
Steve, go for
something
it,
that wasn't mentioned in this podcast tonight, which I feel like is a huge injustice, is the power rankings that the Smash 4 community puts out.
The re-signing of Was, because he did Injustice. So I was like, oh shit, we're going for a Wasminator shout out.
Who? No, I'm kidding. I love Waz. No, but for real, we'll keep it on top. These power rankings, no one else does this. Or others attempt this in Australian esports and whatnot, and they fail so much compared to these power rankings in Smash 4. So like, this it's fire, man. Just keep it up.
Yeah.
So good.
I love it. The graphics.
Don't ever take your foot off the gas on this one. This is a killer idea. So
you guys are onto something here.
Yeah.
Cheers. Give a shout out to Duon, who does all stuff, and he's like the main sort of driving force behind the all the rankings and stuff. Like the Duon 40 is his Victorian power rankings. So he just he puts so much time into it. It's crazy.
Shout out
there in the chat. Shout out to you, Duon.
It is pure fire. I've seen so much content from Australian esports on all kinds of angles and whatnot, and I've been trying to do my own stuff, and that stuff, that's that top shelf stuff. So
the one that had me tearing was there was one that he made, and it had everyone's like school picture from when they were in school.
Oh no!
Who thinks of that? That was genius. I love it. That's so creative. Yeah. Nah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and he had us all in Facebook chat, and we're all like posting our embarrassing school photos, and we're just like,
Extra, you got a Twitter handle for that? Where can people like look that up?
Oh yeah, twitter.com/duonjlm. Yeah, chop him a follow.
Yeah, it sounds like he's pumping out that good content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so we got to go now because I completely derailed it. See you later.
Yep, so that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. 3 of the same stupid heads and 1 wonderful, awesome guest head. We'll see you guys then. Peace out.
Yeah.
See ya.